one voice so that we can continue to be heard on a much broader spectrum. Not only is it important for us to be counted in the 2020 census, it is important for us to be able to get out and vote. I'm going to say this again, get out and vote. One more time, get out and vote. It is important that our trans women, we get out there and we vote, because why? We need to be counted. And I'm going to say that again, we need to be counted. And I cannot stress that enough. So I just want to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to be out here and speak in front of you guys. I'm not going to take too much of the time because there are so many different speeches and there are so many different beautiful faces in the crowd, and I just want to say thank you for supporting us and continue to support us in our mission to keep our community off the street.
Let's please give another round of a hand for Miss Angelina Love. Our next speaker is Eileen Stern. She has been marching for causes she believes in since the 60s, marching against the Vietnam War to the 70s for the ERA, Equal Rights Amendment, and has championed progressive causes for women all of her adult life. Most importantly, to Eileen is the work she has done to support Planned Parenthood. Having lived through the days before Roe v. Wade, she knows that we cannot go back to limited access to women's right to choose in healthcare. Please give it up for Eileen.
Hi. I was asked to speak today on the importance of funding causes based on your personal values to advance women's rights. The harder and equally important thing is raising funds. My husband always says there's no excess in charity, and I agree. Most people are uncomfortable asking for money, but remember, you are not asking for yourself. You are speaking on behalf of a cause you believe in. Be as brave in asking as you are in giving. These few past years have been especially tough. We've seen restrictions on women's bodily autonomy, a backlash against women's independence, and a continued exposure to damaging sexist commentary, starting with grab 'em by the pussy. It's enraging, it's disheartening, but remember, together we can do something about it. So here's the pitch. Lead with your heart and give funds and raise funds. Find the cause within you that supports women. There are many to choose from. Martha's Village, Shelter from the Storm, Safe House, Moms Demand Action, Ophelia Project, Wings of Freedom, Wings of Freedom, the Transgender Health and Wellness Center. There's too many to remember, and some of them are here with us today. But remember this, for over 100 years, Planned Parenthood has been on the forefront to provide sexual and reproductive health care, education, outreach, and preventative care to millions of people. So visit the Planned Parenthood booth at this event and find out how best to support them. We have the power to create the change we need. We are the majority. We are the force that will make a difference. One of us can be dismissed, two of us can be ignored, but united we are a movement. We are the future and we are unstoppable. Una cosa más. Mi español no es bueno, pero es importante decir que juntas tenemos más fuerzas. Muchas gracias, hermanas de corazón.
you, Eileen Stern, for sharing your voice and sharing where these progressive causes and where we can fund them. A lot of the organizations are here today, so after our rally, please do visit all these wonderful organizations that are doing work for our marginalized communities. Our next speaker is Fabiola Alvarez. Fabiola has a bachelor's degree in psychology, more than 8 years of leadership experience fighting for social justice in the community, with several nonprofit organizations such as the Social Justice Committee, ICUC, Cathedral City Community Coalition. Fabiola is currently participating independently in the fight for immigration reform. Let's give a big round of applause for Fabiola Alvarez.
United States seeking to save my life. At the age of 22, I was told in my country that I had leukemia and that there was nothing they could do for me. I saw in the United States a new place to find hope, safety, and the well-being that my own country denied me. After a long process of recovery, I could not come back to my country, and I became part of the 11 million immigrants in the United States. I spent a few years in the shadows, fearful to be kicked out of this country, but the reality is that I did not survive cancer to be ashamed and afraid. I realized that on the other side of fear lies freedom, and I decided to join the fight for immigration reform. For many years, I volunteered my time registering people to vote, advocating and creating awareness about the importance of supporting fair immigration laws. I was one of the main organizers of the passing of the law of Cathedral City as a sanctuary city, and I was able to finish my bachelor's degree thanks to the DREAM Act. A year ago, after 14 years, I finally became a U.S. resident.
I had that bag.
I
love him.
The relief and joy I felt when I received my green card. Today, I walk in solidarity and to not forget the despair and the fear it feels to be an undocumented immigrant woman in this country. Many people have the misconception that becoming a U.S. resident is an easy path, but the truth is that the immigration system in this country is broken. Hundreds of families are still denied, detained, and separated not only in the border, but also in our own communities. As silos have been shutting down, the future of DACA is still in jeopardy, and becoming a green card holder has become more difficult than it has ever been in the past. Sadly, immigrants have become only a number, another item in the politician's agenda. And immigration reform is dead, but still, no politicians want to compromise their vote to support immigration reform, a comprehensive immigration reform. We might think injustice is hard to defeat, but actually, injustice only needs the courage to be defeated. It is time to tell the most vulnerable people from our community, your pain is my pain. Indeed, our silence and indifference are only allowing the bigotry and the hate to grow stronger. If we are not part of the solution, we are being part of the problem. So I urge you to be part of the 2020 census and take advantage that our citizenship status will not be asked. Let us raise our voice for what is good and just. Let us work together to create bridges and no walls, opportunities, no obstacles, peace and no war. I hope that someday all immigrants can be welcomed with dignity and respect, as if we were no longer strangers, but friends, brothers and sisters, working together to assure the prosperity of this great country. So yo también fui una mujer inmigrante que gastó dinero tocando puertas en cada consultorio legal solo para escuchar que no había ningún camino legal disponible para cambiar mi estatus migratorio. Yo también sentí miedo de ser detenida por un agente de inmigración y no poder regresar a casa con mi familia. Pero la realidad es de que tener miedo solo nos aleja de la libertad. Debemos unir nuestras fuerzas, educarnos y participar activamente. Somos seres humanos con sueños y dones. Ya basta de ser solo un número más en la agenda de los políticos. Si dejamos de luchar por una reforma migratoria justa, estamos fomentando el problema del odio y el racismo. Demostremos que nuestra voz y voto cuenta. Los animo a participar en el censo 2020, sin temor alguno, pues no habrá una pregunta sobre nuestra ciudadanía. Trabajemos juntos para proteger a nuestras familias, para crecer en empatía con los más vulnerables de nuestras comunidades y no olvidemos que hoy caminamos para no olvidar que un día nuestras abuelas, nuestras madres y nosotras mismas también fuimos inmigrantes. Gracias.
Fabiola for sharing your story today. Our next speaker is Leslie Figueroa. She is from the city of Coachella, currently working on the Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability as a policy advocate. There she works and co-empowers with residents of the Eastern Coachella Valley on issues and policies surrounding affordable housing, access to safe and affordable drinking water, infrastructure projects, clean air, land use, and climate change. Please give it up for Leslie Figueroa.
Hi everyone, where's everyone going? Just kidding. Well, my name is Leslie Figueroa, and like they said, I work for an organization called Leadership Council. We work primarily in the East Valley, and I know probably many of you, and for those that don't know me, it's probably seeing me and my coworker go to all these different meetings advocating for East Valley, and people kind of look at us and are like, "You two again?" We're like, "Yeah, we're back." The advocacy never ends, and I think what I really wanted to take time today to talk about was a little bit about the work that's been going on that we are organizing with residents. Specifically, it's a variety of topics, right? Air quality, water, housing. I know the folks that inspire me the most to continue doing this work always ends up being the residents that we work with. I think the women, the grandmothers, mothers, the young women who continuously go to all these meetings and are the ones who are most civically engaged and really wanting to see a change in their community, I think is what keeps me going. I think that's why I'm here, and I think uplifting their voices, because they're not here today, right? There's always something going on. And I know I really wanted to highlight a little bit about the housing crisis, the water crisis. I know some of us may not feel it as much as others, but it's still real, right? There are folks here in the Coachella Valley and the East Valley who open their tap water and sometimes it comes out yellow. It's contaminated with arsenic. It's contaminated with something. There's folks sometimes when we're talking about housing, some folks can't find housing. Folks are getting evicted because of income inequality, because of systems that exist that are out of people's control. And they're real, right? They're real, and sometimes you ask yourself and you see stuff on the news, you see the stuff that's going on in Oakland with Moms for Housing, which you all should be supporting completely because it's a crisis, right? Like, we need to be looking at things differently. We need to be looking at these systems. We need to be kind of united. We need to be in solidarity, and whenever these meetings happen, being civically engaged. And sometimes it doesn't have to be about because sometimes folks are apathetic or because whatever is happening is out of our control, but we need to put pressure. And I think that's what folks have been organizing in Oasis in the past few months around an arsenic violation that the US EPA put an order out back in August. And since then we've been organizing with more than 40 residents on, they want to change the community. And for folks that might not know what's going on, if there's a mobile home park on Avenue 70th, all the way Oasis Thermal, about 1,900 folks, maybe more, live there. Children, single mothers, undocumented folks, indigenous populations, farm workers are folks who live there and are facing an abusive landlord, hugely abusive landlord. There's all these issues going on in the park where folks don't have access to clean water. Their wastewater system and distribution system, you don't know what or how it's there or if it's contaminating the water as well. There's a landfill right in the back where there's folks that live, not that, for me right here to that speaker, is like where folks' trash is. And I think sometimes folks don't know what's going on and you don't know what to do, right? We're desensitized about all the issues that are happening, the fires in Australia, the housing crisis, homelessness, like eviction camps that in LA and everything. But there's stuff going on here too where we also need your help. and residents want to know and to tell folks what's happening in their own backyard, literally, about telling your representatives, making those coordinator efforts, because none of this is easy. It's hard. And organizing residents is hard, and they're organizing their own community members as well to tell folks like, hey, we're tired of this. And a lot of folks who live at Oasis too, we're also living at Los Duros or Durable, or any of you who might want to Google it and figure it out with the issues that happened more than 10 years there. And that's kind of what folks are still dealing with right now, right? So I think moving forward, right, if you want to organize with residents, if you want to be able to support somehow, making sure that housing and water is a human right actually becomes a reality, come talk to us. Let's do it. So thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, for sharing your voice today on environmental racism. It's happening everywhere. I'll say it again. Environmental racism is happening here locally. We need to take care and make sure that every person in the valley has clean water and affordable housing. And make sure that we're organizing and holding our elected officials accountable, and make sure that you're doing that work too. We can't just be online posting about stuff, or we can't just be like, yes. No, our world is dying. We need to organize, be accountable, and show up for each other. Okay, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Lorraine Salas. Woo! Lorraine has proudly taught in the East Coachella Valley for 15 years and has advocated for local, state, and national progressive policies, some of which include single-payer healthcare, tenants' rights bills, and environmental justice. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community and looks forward to working with others, expanding awareness for LGBTQ rights. Let's give it up for Lorraine Salas. Woo!
¡Que viva la mujer! ¡Que viva! It's so great to be out here on another historic day in the city of Coachella. I could really attest to what the speaker before me, Leslie Figueroa, was talking about. And I am a teacher out in the Oasis community. I'm so proud to be a teacher there in the community. And we also have other teachers who teach out in the Oasis community. Thank you so much for being here. Raise your hands up. Thank you. You all put in the hard work every day and make sure the students are getting what they need. And so I'm here because of to highlight the shameful existence of environmental racism that continues. And I'm sorry, behind me, I just want to also, later in my speech, I'll introduce an environmental activist and a human rights activist from Honduras, Luis Fernandez. Yes. He worked alongside Berta Cáceres. If any of you don't know, please Google Berta Cáceres. She was an environmental justice and indigenous rights activist who sadly was killed because of the conflict that is happening in Honduras. And we also need to highlight that whatever resources that we give abroad to allow corporations to go into other countries and destroy the land there is a lack of resources that are coming into our country. So yes, it's make sure that we talk to our officials about that. And one of his friends, Craig Scott, who is not here today, but he wants to go before Ruiz to make sure that people in Honduras are making sure that there's no more violence and death happening there. So thank you. So the mulch fires that happened, I'm sure you heard about a few months ago. That was something that happened that was very unexpected and affected all of our students and affected our teachers. So, but what still remains there are the recycling plants and the dump sites that some of us are being exposed to. And we want to ask our elected officials and our politicians to please look into what it is that we're being continuously exposed to. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So these fires have been happening since well over a year ago or more. The fires may have ended, but the recycling plants and dump sites remain. The same recycling plants